everyone, so today's video is going to be school supplies that you need for college. Surprisingly, this has been one of my most requested videos from you guys. So many of you guys wanted me to do a whole video talking about what you guys should bring to college, and I totally get it. I was one of those kids before school going through the aisles in Target, like getting all my school supplies to go back to school, and when you go to college you're like, what do I actually need? So I totally understand that, so that's why I wanted to make this video to answer a lot of those questions that you guys had on what you're supposed to bring to college and what supplies you're actually gonna need, and if you actually need a lot of things or not. So I'm gonna tell you guys like the main things that you guys should bring to college, because the supplies you need are not like what you brought to like high school or middle school. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the number one thing is going to be your laptop. It doesn't have to be a MacBook or anything like that, but you definitely are going to need a laptop for when you go to college. I know so many people, including myself, who got them like my senior year for like graduation gifts, because a lot of people and your family members know that in college that is like the number one thing you need, because for a lot of assignments you're gonna have to use it on your computer, and it is difficult if you have to go to a library all the time and kind of use that resource, because it's not something you're gonna need like once a week or maybe once a month, but something you use on a daily basis. And I'm pretty sure at most colleges they have programs specific to their school to like look at all their classes, and how a lot of the professors communicate with their students is now all through the internet. So that is like the number one thing you're gonna need, is some sort of laptop. The next thing is going to be a planner. This is like one of my number one things. I'm a big fan of planners. I use a planner like every single day. I write out what I'm gonna do for the week, what I need to get done, my plans for the upcoming week, what I need to study. Like, planners are gonna be your best friend in college, because it's not like high school where your professors laid out what you have coming up to do this week, what's gonna be due the following day of class, and all that. You are completely on your own in college, and your professor isn't gonna be holding your hand letting you know what's gonna be due and stuff. That is on you. So get organized and get yourself a planner, so that way you guys can stay as organized as you can in college, because that is something, a big difference of high school and college, is that it is all on you once you get to college, and that's the best way to help you stay organized. So that is the second thing, is a planner. The next thing is pencils. So I'm someone who likes to write my notes down. Even if you don't like to write your notes down, you need pencils to write down in my planner. I need pencils. Like, pencils is one thing that I feel like always gets lost because people are sometimes borrowing it. But the good thing in college that I notice is I'm losing my pencils a lot less than I did in high school, because I'm like by myself every time I go to a huge lecture hall. Only in like half my classes I'm actually with people, but a lot of times I'm just like to myself, so I'm not like losing pencils as often. So that's a perk about college. But pencils you're just gonna need to write down things, write your name down on like papers that are handed out to you, and your planner. So pencils are a must. And along with pens, there'll be some teachers who may require you to do some assignments in pens and stuff, and if you need to write an important signature, things like that, just it's nice to always have a pen. So definitely have pens as well. The next thing is a binder with dividers. I'm someone who loves to stay organized in this way as well. I love having a binder so that way I can divide each of my classes up in sections. I know some people prefer having notebooks and stuff for each of the class, and I've tested that out a couple times, and it's just not my favorite thing to do. I just don't like having all multiple notebooks in my backpack. I'd rather just have one binder and divide it into sections for each class, and just put all of my important papers and syllabi in there and just divide it that way. So definitely a binder with dividers if you're the same way like me. And if that is something that worked for you in high school, you'll probably want to do the same in college and have that same technique. The next thing is highlighters. You don't need like a huge pack of highlighters, but maybe one or two to keep in your backpack. There were definitely a lot of articles that I received in classes this year that I needed to like highlight things, or even if I'm writing notes, things that I need to highlight. So definitely a couple highlighters you want to make sure you have on hand. And the next thing is a mini stapler. This is something that I didn't bring the past couple years, and I always forget about this, but I'm making sure I'm taking one this year, because I was constantly asking friends if I could borrow a stapler, making sure I got to my classes early to use my professor's stapler, because there were a lot of situations where they wanted us to print out papers or essays in person and staple those and turn those in, and I didn't have a stapler. So that's definitely something that I'm going to make sure I take with me this year, is a mini stapler, just to have on hand if I need to quickly staple something, or someone else needs it and my professor doesn't have one. It's just great to have a mini stapler with you at all times, so I would definitely recommend that as well. And another thing that a lot of people forget are scissors. Scissors are so important, And even if it's not for school supplies, you want to make sure you keep a pair in your dorm or anything like that, because scissors you're going to always need. If you're getting a package, you're going to need scissors to open it. If you need help cutting something, you obviously need scissors, and I feel like scissors are a basic thing that everyone needs, but you may forget about. So make sure you guys also pack some scissors with you. You may not need it for everyday basis like going to class, but you definitely want to keep some with you when you go to college. And the next thing would be notebooks and paper if you want to like handwrite your notes. So I definitely would get like a stack of paper if you're someone who likes to handwrite your notes and stuff. I prefer getting paper that you can put in your binder rather than all those separate notebooks. But if you want to get notebooks, that's another option. And it's just good to have a lot on hand just in case. I mean, I know a lot of people like doing notes on their computer, and I kind of do that for like half my classes, but for a lot of times I like having the physical copies of it. So it's nice to have a stack of paper where you don't have to be replenishing all the time. So that's why I like getting like a larger stack of it. The last thing I would recommend is like a scientific calculator. Even if your major doesn't require you to take any sort of like math classes or anything, it's just nice to have a calculator. I don't think it's that necessary to go and buy one yet, unless you're told otherwise, but if you already had one from high school that you used, I would definitely take that with you. I kept my scientific calculator in my backpack and used that honestly quite a few times, even if I was like in my lecture hall. If we were getting asked like a question and I wanted to look it up or calculate something really quickly, other than using my phone, like it was a great thing to have. So if you already have a scientific calculator, it would be a great idea to bring it. And I think those are like the main school supplies that you need. And another thing I wanted to say is I honestly would not get a lot of school supplies yet. I feel like these are like just like the main basic things that you need for first day of school or important to have. But the one thing about college is you don't want to get a ton of school supplies and it ended up being a waste because you didn't need it. So definitely wait until your first week of classes and read your syllabus on supplies that you're actually going to need, because I know going back to school or even starting a whole new grade, you really want to make sure you have all your supplies and you're like, oh, I need to get all those erasers and post-its, I don't know, like a ton of things that you don't actually ever need. Oh, but what I would recommend that I didn't say is also a pencil pouch. So get a pencil pouch too to keep your pencils, pens, and highlighters. That'll keep you organized. This helps me a lot to not just throw them all in my bag and it being like a mess in that little pocket. So also a pencil pouch I'll recommend. Yeah, other than that, like do not go crazy and overboard with the school supplies. Just wait until your first week of classes to really read the syllabus and see the items that you're actually going to need. Same thing with books. Don't go crazy and buy all the books. Talk to other people who've taken that class so you don't end up spending money on books that you don't really need. I honestly, guys, I never read the books that were said that we absolutely needed, and I literally probably opened them, books that I ended up actually buying, which was like a couple, like twice, and you don't really need them to get good grades, and I ended up getting A's in all those classes. So you guys make sure you talk to other people in the class and see if you're actually going to need those items, and read the syllabus for things that you're actually going to need before you go and spend a lot of money on them. So yeah, those are my main school supply things that you guys need for college. And I hope this helps you guys, because I had no idea either what you're supposed to bring to college. But yeah, these are definitely the basics that I think you guys need. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye guys!